Hello, it's been a while since my last one, I think 2 weeks. Mainly because I've just been busy, but also because I'm not sure what I want to do with this channel. A lot of my previous videos have been quite long. I think I'm just going to try and focus on doing shorter book reviews that hopefully more people will watch and hopefully be encouraged to pick up reading as a hobby, because that was the whole point of this channel in the first place. So yeah. Norwegian Wood, Murakami, very famous Japanese author. This is apparently the book that sort of pushed him into like celebrity status. He is quite well known as an author for using a lot of like magical realism, sort of like fantasy elements in the real world. This book doesn't have too much of that, or any of that really. It's a very straightforward, I don't know why I can't talk today. It's a very straightforward plot. It follows a 20-year-old guy who's in university in Japan, and it's sort of him dealing with his best friend's suicide and how that affects his romantic relationships. I don't want to say too much about the plot because there isn't much of a story. There's like a few events that happen, but most of the story is how his relationships develop. And it's not a romance. I'm not trying to describe it as a romance because it's not. I'm not a huge fan of just straight romance books. But this is very good sort of dive into how depression and anxiety and grief especially can affect those around you. And oh, I think my lighting's going. Sorry, one sec. Is that better? I actually can't tell. Anyway, that looks worse. Bear with me. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. It focuses on how depression, anxiety, grief affect those around you. And especially as a young person, because at the point of recording this, I'm just turned 21. And I'm having the whole being young, not knowing what I want to do with my life. Well, I know what I want to do with my life, but, you know, there's a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety around, you know, jobs, graduating, all that sort of stuff. And this like captures that sort of angst and feeling the need to sort of move forward. And out of the two relationships that he sort of he ends up like debating between the thing that sort of pushes him to choose one person is, well, this is better for me and like advancing with my life. And it sounds horrible and like selfish, and maybe that's the point. I'm not sure. There's a lot to talk about with this book, especially the way sex is portrayed. There's trigger warning for, we'll check the trigger warnings for this book, but there's a very disturbing sort of scene between a 30-year-old and a 13-year-old, like a love scene. But another thing about Murakami is that if you've been on the internet at all, on like BookTube or BookTok, is how he portrays women. And I'd say that's definitely an issue, if that's the right word. it's definitely something to think about if that's something that will put you off from reading. Maybe see what other people say about how he portrays women that know more about that than me, because they are just, it's not something I like really picked up on in this. I think it's worse in Kafka on the Shore, but in this book there are a few like misogynistic, sort of sexist comments or ideas. Like the main character has sex with another character, and she sort of says something along the lines of, "Oh, I'll never need to have sex again because it won't be better than that." And you just think, oh, it's a bit self-serving to write something like that, you know. But yeah, I would recommend it. I've just been trashing on it for the past 2 minutes, but especially if you're like around my age and you've dealt with like grief or depression or anxiety, I'd recommend this. Yeah, I said I'd try and keep them shorter now, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there. Murakami, Norwegian Wood. I recommend it.